Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Dre Broadcasting Network for the race before the new crown with the Precision Racing League. We are coming to you live from Homestead, Miami Speedway, bringing you support for D. LaBeouf by LIT Motorsports and season finale of the Precision Racing League American iRacing Sunday Series, courtesy of GenXRacing.com and GemX.com. I'm your commentator, Sean Zulu. I am joined up in the Dre Broadcasting booth by David Everly, our producer, and a special guest here tonight with the Big D's race in the 3 of Dale Robertson, but he is commentating with us up in the booth tonight and not racing. How you guys doing tonight?
Doing pretty good, Sean. Ready to see who's going to be this season's champion and then get ready for next season.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they can do out there. I know Markel basically has that already locked down, but third place, that's going to be a good fight, and even back behind that, that's going to be pretty good too.
Absolutely, yeah. Last week's race did really shake things up in the points a little bit. The Pocono Raceway there, starting last week's race. Well, Johnny Pierce and Markel Murphy, first and second place, were only 6 points apart, but Johnny Pierce, unfortunately, will not be here tonight due to previous, some other things he has to do. That is going to give Markel Murphy the lead still here going into tonight's race at Homestead Miami Speedway. And man, final race of the season, the race before the crown, or the race that determines the new crown, because unfortunately James O'Brien, defending champion, will not be able to defend his throne due to having a bad season, or I should say a season that he did not really want to have. So recap from last week's race, actually, from Pocono Race, where we had James O'Brien bring it home, John LaBeouf came out second, Derek Pemberton came out third, Adam Chapman fourth, Jeffrey Ford fifth, Trevor White sixth, Dale Robertson seventh, Ronald McManus eighth, Ken Caruthers ninth, and Jean-Francois Champagne did round up the top 10. And going over the point standings once again, Markel Murphy is leading in points, and Johnny Pierce being shown second in points. And we have Chris Perez and Dale Robertson. You and Chris Perez once again tied for third place in points. Cotton Lane fourth, John LaBeouf fifth. We have Craig Hawkins sixth, Stephen Johnston seventh, Stephen Aguiar eighth, Dustin Hall ninth, and Cody Nutmiller is rounding up the top 10. And these drivers, racing teams, Markel Murphy once again Flat Out Motorsports, Johnny Pierce Simtech Racing Team, Chris Perez Big D's Racing, Dale Robertson Big D's Racing, Ford Lane Motorsports with Cotton Lane, No Fear Racing Team, John LaBeouf, Craig Hawkins Aeronix Sim Racing, Stephen Johnston Gen X Racing Team, Stephen Aguiar Wrangler Motorsports, Dustin Hall Simtech Racing Team, and Cody Nutmiller in the Gen X Racing Team. Well, man, Dale, it's been a heck of a season on your part and everybody else. You got to know a lot of new faces out there, a lot of new competition, but you were still able to propel despite that. But how's it been your season?
I think I did pretty good this season. I got a lot of good top 10s, which was really my aim, was to finish in the top 10 for every race. I got a couple top 5s, which was also one of my goals. Overall, I think I did pretty good. I would have liked to have gotten a win. Charlotte, I had a pretty good chance, but next season I'm going to try to go for a couple of wins, and I'm going to try to take the championship.
Oh, absolutely, man. Yeah, that is all you can do. And now with your determination, that is all you need to get the job done. And yes, this season there, Dale, you brought your A-plus game. Every time you bring your A game, but this time you brought your A++ game, and now next season we expect to see an A++ game. So with that said, we look forward to your return. And looking there in the chat, we have some viewers. We have William Hutton in the chat. Welcome to the Dre Broadcasting Network. He is actually one of my classmates here, tuning in for the first time, watching a NASCAR race here on iRacing live on YouTube. And for all those viewers in the chat, type it up, say something, say hello, let us know who you're rooting for tonight, because once again it's a star-studded field, and this is the race before the crown, and a lot of positions are at stake. And besides this race being for the championship, it's also for the drivers who are racing amongst themselves for positions because the points are very, very close. Top 10, top 15, top 20. So anything can happen. And Dale, how much experience do you have at here at Homestead, Miami? Because even last season, you guys ended the race right here, or the season right here.
I've got a couple of races here. Obviously, last season, I can't remember how I finished there. I don't think it was very good. But I think I did a couple C Open races last season, last year, whatever it was. Not too much experience, but generally I find it similar to some of the other 1.5 mile tracks, but this is definitely a different track from the other ones.
Absolutely. Yeah, from the other tracks, you guys are most likely used to that, to having that high banking to help with the rotation, at the same time to help you guys carry most speed through these turns. But here tonight, that is not the case at Homestead Miami Speedway. And the track temp is 85 degrees Fahrenheit with a 76-degree Fahrenheit air temperature, 60% fuel limit. Well, it looks like the grid is now ready here, Dale, and the pole sitter is the 8 of Steven Aguiar, Wrangler Motorsports driver, the 43 of Steven Johnston with the Gen X Racing team starting second, the 1 James O'Brien defending champion third, 23 Craig Hawkins fourth, Brandon Massey fifth, Daniel Wilborn sixth, Dustin Hall 7th, Jeffrey Ford 8th, Carlton Lane 9th, and Stephen Mattox rounding up the top 10. And here for 11th place of Eric Roberts, Matthew Cisna. This is actually a new driver, just now noticed that. But Matthew Cisna, new first race for this driver here, starting in 12th place. The 14th of Paul D. Johnson 13th, Matthew York 14th, David Dreckman 15th, and that rounds up the top 15. And Dale, if you would please read off the remainder of the drivers.
That looks like Derek Pemberton in 16th, Tom Chisholm 17th, David Flowers, another new driver, in 18th, Eddie Hawks in 19th, Markel Murphy starting 20th. Behind here is No Time, Chris Perez 21st. John LaBaffe 23rd, and Ronald McManus 24th. I skipped myself because I'm not doing the race.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's going to give us 23 drivers. So 24 drivers, well, minus you, 23 drivers here. And we are now rolling this time by being led by the post setter, the 8 of Steven Aguiar, with a new paint scheme, actually. That Gen X Racing paint scheme. That is a very, very well-dressed machine. And Dale, you guys do put in a lot of work in these paint schemes.
Yep. I've got people. Well, Paul did my paint scheme this year. He does really well with the paint schemes. I'm hoping that he can do mine next season too.
Oh, most definitely. As right now, here we are entering turn number 3, almost turn 4, going green for the first time, this time by, ladies and gentlemen, support for D. LaBeouf by LIT Motorsports. And we will get into that here before too long, but the pace car dips off, and we are waiting for the screen to get back up. We are working on it the best that we can, and we do apologize for the inconvenience, but we are now green this time by the 8 of Aguiar. Was caught sleeping, goes from first place to about 4th place here in one lap, entering turn number 1, and right behind him is the 95 of Jeffrey Ford, who as well is wearing a new suit tonight. I should say a new paint scheme on that machine. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, we do apologize for the inconvenience, but the screen will be back up shortly. And I talked about how this is support for D. LaBeouf by LIT Motorsports, ladies and gentlemen. And D. LaBeouf is one of the driver's wives, John LaBeouf here with the Precision Racing League. And she had been diagnosed and has been diagnosed with different types of cancer. And they are wanting to help raise some funds to help with the medical expenses. Also, she's on a feeding tube, so that will help as well. So for all those who are interested in donating for this great cause, once again, support for D. LaBeouf, check out, go to paypal.me/DEELABAFF. That is paypal.me/DEELABAFF. That is paypal.me/D. LaBeouf. and we are under caution here this time by. It looks like it happened in the back of the pack, trying to get some numbers on this machine. As we are still trying to get the picture back up, the 99 of David Flowers got a piece of the action. The 33 David Dreckman got around that. The 58 of Tom Chisholm as well got a piece of the action, and both smoking heavily from the rear end. And that's Tom Chisholm and the 99 of David Flowers. And Dale, last season you guys came from a fixed setup season to an open setup season this season. How did you feel about the transition?
Well, I mean, we did have that race in Texas that you know, I did win that, so that was really a really big confidence booster. I don't know if everybody really had put in the effort for that setup as I did. I spent about 2 weeks on that setup. James, I mean, he's good. When it's not fixed, he's good when it's fixed. So I expect him to be good. Brandon, you know, Ironic, they really stepped up. They got a lot better. And then Gen X obviously came. They had some really good setups, and they were able to do pretty good. So I think it's been a pretty good transition.
Oh man, yeah, very, very glad to hear that. And yeah, sounds like it. And Dale, with what you've been seeing this season, man, with how amazing you've done compared maybe to the previous season or the season before that, what do you think, or how do you feel? Well, what do you think you have to carry over to next season to maybe do the exact same thing, or maybe even better?
I think I'm gonna have to carry the momentum of the good top 10s that I've been getting. I am gonna be moving over, I believe, to the second Ironic team. I'm pretty excited for that because I get the knowledge basically of Brandon and them. They're going to help me out a lot. So I'm feeling good about next season.
Oh, that is very, very good to hear. And that even gives us something to look forward to even more. Seeing you turn those top 10s into podiums week after week. And once again, it has been an amazing season on your part. And seeing you just pretty much grow the past couple of seasons up with the racing here on the Dre Broadcasting Network. And so far here we are being led by the 43 of Steven Johnston, the 23 Craig Hawkins second, the 10 of Daniel Wilborn third, Jeffrey Ford fourth, and James O'Brien fifth. And there Dale, the 10 of Wilborn, Daniel Wilborn, came in quite late in the season, but that still did not stop him from dominating, I should admit. So with that said, it looks like Daniel Wilborn might have something next season.
He might. There's a lot of drivers. He's one of the best. I can believe he's one of the best in this league. Especially, you know, even with I think a couple of others, but he has been the best that has come to this season.
Absolutely, yeah, he has been, and we're seeing some new drivers here tonight. Matthew Cessna, the 22, including David Flowers, 99, David Flowers, Mike Duncan, once again, maybe small from the rear end, his motor onto pretty much just crawl onto his pits and having no back and forth whatsoever. That has been a lot of work. Try and get that back up and running. We are now back onto this time by being led still by 43 of Steven Johnston behind the 10 of Daniel Wilborn. On the outside, Craig Hawkins with the help of the 95 of Jeffrey Ford, going green this time by pace car Dustin. Green. Second place in one lap. Craig Hawkins not sleeping and might pay the price. He's inside the line of James O'Brien goes, and that's gonna bump Hawkins from second place to fourth place.
They've been pretty clean so far. This is a good restart.
Drivers pushing it while they can. Basically, drivers racing hard while these tires are new. Because once those tires go, and they try like Homestead from previous season, like get last season, racing runs.
Oh yeah.
Dustin Hall with a in that machine. Looks like he's back into some kind of straight pipe, I can say. We kind of want to call in this case. But he is still rocking that damage. Brandon Massey, who is now in 4th place. And Brandon Massey had some bad luck last week at Pocono after dominating the race, and he is trying his best to make sure that does not happen again here tonight at Homestead, Miami for the final race of the season. And looking in the chat there, we do have Martin MTA, and welcome Martin to the Dre Broadcasting Network. And if you look back in the pack, the 60 of Colton Lane is behind the, that's going to be the 19 of Matthew York. Matthew York has come a long way tonight from 14th place to 9th so far, and increasing, going up in positions.
Yep, he has, he's done pretty good this season for the couple of races that I've seen him. Especially Pocono, I think he was running pretty well. Dover, I think he was running well too. He's done a good job. He's one of the good racers in this league too.
Oh yes, he is, and yeah, his next victim here is the 22 of Matthew Cisna. Cisna is now trying to pounce on the 6 of Steven Mattox, and so far Cisna is already changing up his race group there, Dale. He is going high all the way, trying to save his tires for the long run.
Yep, and that's a good idea to start pretty early. I mean, you know, sometimes it's good to use your tires, but you know, the people that will save their tires will do the best at the end of the race.
Yep, that is very, very true. Yeah, these drivers trying to set themselves up for the long runs, and here this season, the long runs have been very, very important, even more important than ever before, because of all these green flag runs. We've been having the green flag pit stops kicking in every now and then, so all those short run drivers do end up suffering. But so far, it seems as though everybody has been doing an amazing job all season long in the long run.
Yep, and that's the best way to go, is to set your car up so that you're doing the best at the end of the run, because that's when you make up a lot of time. A track like this is a good example, because this isn't really what I would call... I mean, this is classified as an intermediate track, but this is slightly a little bit less than an intermediate track. So yeah, tires are important.
Very, very important, but still here, 14 laps in, the drivers still side by side. For the back in this pack, 41, Chris Perez to the inside of the 45 of Eddie Hawks, who is dropping off 911 of John LaBeouf on the back straightaway, and he will lead a slight nose. Actually scratched out a big nose lead on the entrance to 3 against 41 of Chris Perez, and Perez power move off turn 4, clears 45 of Hawks successfully. His next victim, 911 of John LaBeouf.
Yeah, I like Chris there. He's been a good teammate for me this season. Looks like he's just going to clear him off 2. Maybe, I believe. Oh, I thought he was clear, but they will go side by side into 3 here.
And also one thing I've noticed about Chris Perez, your teammate, is that in previous seasons, he used to be very conservative. Basically, he was a driver who seems to feared pushing it by the looks of it. But this season seems like he's gotten out of his shell.
A little bit. He's still a pretty conservative driver. I don't think we've really seen him do... I mean, he's had some good races, so we've seen sometimes where he's really gone hard and he's really pushed. But there's still a lot of time where he's really conservative and he tries to give a lot of people room, and he's probably one of the cleanest drivers in the league.
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt. And as we speak, he is being shown 16th behind the 33 of David Dreckman. The 8 of Aguero is trying to get around him, but just backed it down to just ride for now. And for the back up front, we had some 3 wide going on, but we are now back double wide here with a cluster. It's going to be 19 Matthew York, Markel Murphy, 14 Cody Johnson, 22 of Matthew Cisna, the 60 Coton Lane, and the 23 of Craig Hawkins here. Single foul so far as we speak, but the 14 of Paul Johnson trying to make some moves against every driver he can, but the 48 of Murphy to his inside, exiting turn 2.
Yep, down the backstretch here. That's Markel and Paul side by side. Looks like they're going to go. Oh, they almost made contact there. That was pretty close, but looks like Markel's going to make that move, and it looks like Craig just got tapped a little bit by Colton. That was a really good save right there.
Oh, yep, a save and a half. Sideways action for the win. Dave, if we can, let's please back that up on the Dre Broadcasting replay and see how he saved that. That's 23 of Craig Hawkins. Oh, 10-4, brother. Well, here we are, still green flag racing, and that will set the 23 of Craig Hawkins back quite a ways. And 3 wide on the exit of turn 4. It's going to be among 22 of Cisna, the 14 of Johnson, the 48 of Murphy, but they do end up going back single foul. And the 48 of Murphy's next victim is the 60 of Carton Lane, but so far Murphy is not in the clear just yet. The 14 of Johnson trying to make some moves as we speak against Murphy. At the same time, Johnson is pulling on the 22 of Matthew Cisna.
Yeah, this is a really good battle. I like this part of the race when they can just be, you know, you're in the middle part of the run, and it's just where you can kind of battle and just see how your car is doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, these drivers getting used to these machines lap after lap, because with the changes in tire wear and pretty much just the track conditions lap after lap, these guys do have to be on their toes and just pretty much get used to the handling of these machines. At the same time, they can never completely get used to them because it's never ever perfect. It's very difficult. It might be even difficult to keep up with what's going on there with the machines. And most drivers like to go, when they go down pit road, they do end up making some changes there to better their chances, basically to better the handling of the machine, as I try to get the words out.
Yep, a good change for that would be tire pressure. Usually you can really adjust your car by your tire pressures, but there's also wedge adjustments you can make to kind of bring the right rear side of the car up or bring the left rear down, whichever part you want to do if you want to make it loose or tight. And I see we have a caution.
Oh, yep, on lap number 23 here. Gonna see what's involved in this one. Looks like 81, Derek Pemberton. Yes, Derek Pemberton and the 95 of Jeffrey Ford made contact on that back straightaway. Oh, and that did cause the caution. Very unfortunate indeed for both drivers, Pemberton and Jeffrey Ford. But they still will, should say they'll live to do some more racing here tonight before the race is over. The only thing they have to do now is go down pit road, and their pit crews will be hard at work trying to straighten those machines out.
It's hard to tell what happened there. That was just some kind of weird incident, I guess. But yep, coming down pit road, I guess they will. It's been long enough into the stint that they will probably come down.
Yeah, and it most likely is a good thing for some drivers there, Dale, because they'll be able to get new tires, be on the exact same strategy as everybody else, and at the same time they'll come up to another good run. Basically, they'll have newer tires, they'll have a lot of grip, the grip they need, and that's going to encourage a lot of battling.
Yep, this is kind of it's early, but this can still be a pretty important time of the race.
Yep, and we are down pit road with everybody's on pit road as we speak, except for Tom Chisholm. Tom Chisholm staying out. Once again, Tom Chisholm was one of the drivers involved in the first incident that brought out the first caution and had some bad smoke from the rear end of his machine. But as we speak, he is back on the track. That was some quick work by his pit crew. We need to commend that pit crew of his, but he is back out on the track as we speak and just got 1 lap back. He goes from 18 laps down to 17 laps down.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate that that happens, but yeah, that's racing, I guess.
Absolutely, and the good thing about that here, Dale, is that the race is still very, very young. 101 laps, 101 laps. So it's not over until it's over. He most likely will be able to get most of. He should be able to get most of his laps back before the race ends. But it is difficult to tell because we've been seeing a lot of green flag runs. So that does make it very difficult to accomplish.
Yeah, it does.
And we do have a new race leader, the 10 of Daniel Wilborn. Brandon Massey second, Stephen Mattox third, Colton Lane fourth, and Markel Murphy in the 5th place position. Oh man, Dale, Markel has come a very, very long way this far from 20th place to 5th place and climbing.
Oh yeah, he is. He's one of the fastest in this league as well. He is. You know, I mean, that's the reason that he's in the lead of the championship, because he is definitely one of the fastest.
Oh yeah, and last season he actually fell a little bit short there in points due to some bad luck prior. Well, a couple of races before the end of the season, which ended up putting him in 2nd place in points, not too far behind James O'Brien. But yep, coming into this race, let's see his man. Yeah, he's over 25 points, 30 points ahead of 2nd place driver in points. So it might be safe to say that he has this thing wrapped up. Once again, things do change, so we'll wait until the end of the race to determine that. And once again, for all those new viewers in the chat, welcome to the Dre Broadcasting Network. For the existing viewers and returning viewers, welcome back to the Dre Broadcasting Network. And this is the final race of the season with the Precision Racing League American iRacing Sunday Series, brought to you by Precision Racing League here. And we are having some technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen. Technical difficulties, that is. We have lost the screen, but we are hard at work trying to get it back up and running. And this is support for D. LaBeouf by LIT Motorsports. And D. LaBeouf is the wife to one of the drivers, John LaBeouf. And she has been diagnosed with different kinds of cancer, different types of cancer, and they are trying to raise some money to help cover the medical expenses, because they can be quite costly. And she is on a feeding tube on top of that. So for all those who would like to donate, please go to paypal.me/DEELABAFF. That is paypal.me/DLaBeouf. And ladies and gentlemen, every donation is much appreciated. Well, as we try to get the screen back up here and running here, the pace car does dip off, and Daniel Wilborn catches everybody off guard. And behind him, Massey and Stephen Mattox battling side by side for 2nd place. Massey on the outside, Mattox on the inside, side by side still off turn 2.
And down the backstretch they go. Steven Johnson might be able to make a look here on Stephen Maddox. Going into turn 3, Brandon has that 2nd place basically locked down there. Steven might be able to make a shot at him for turn 1. Side by side through most of the field. Looks like they go 3 wide way at the back there. That looks like Matthew York.
Oh yeah, that was Matthew
there.
York. Yep, he backs it down to let it go back, double wide and falls back in line behind the 37 of Dustin Hall on the outside line. 22. That's going to be the 22 of Matthew Cisna pulling on the 1 of James O'Brien. In front of them, the 14 of Paul D. Johnson. Oh, the 19 of Matthew York taps the apron and almost gets away. Oh, he goes sideways off the track. Oh, he saves it.
That's a good save right there. That's a really good save.
Yep, that is a save and a half once again. Man, that thing was squirrely.
It's hard to save that. I know that for sure. When you hit the apron, that's pretty hard to save.
And looking in the chat there, we do have some more viewers tuning in. We have Kundai Musque. I do apologize if I pronounced that wrong, but thank you for tuning into the Drive Broadcasting Network with the Precision Racing League, American iRacing Sunday Series. We also have Rory in the chat, Rory McDuff in the chat, and also Catherine Catholic. And is Dale commentating? Yes, Dale Robertson is up in the Drive Broadcasting booth with us. Yes, he is.
I think I know these guys from Racing League that I do. That's pretty funny.
Absolutely. Yeah, man, then we want to thank you once again, Dale, for joining us. We also have Paul Punk in the chat. Welcome to Dre Broadcasting Network. And once again, for all those new viewers, say something in the chat, type it up, say hello, and we will give you a shout out. Thank you for tuning in. And Bryson Dykes in the chat as well. And ladies and gentlemen, we were able to get the screen back up and running thanks to David Evil here with the Dre Broadcasting Network. And we once again do apologize for the inconveniences that this might cause. And here, going back to the race, the 19 of Matthew York trying to make some moves. Oh, he goes sideways once again. That is a loose machine.
Yeah, some of those guys like it like that, and they say loose is fast, but there gets to be a point where loose isn't fast anymore. But I think he's right on the limit there.
Absolutely, yep. Loose is fast. And as pretty as the sideways action might look, it is bad for the driver. It's bad for the car, or the machine in this case, because those tires do end up wearing way more than they would if you were driving a lot more straighter. As we see right now, the 19 of Matthew York is trying to make some moves. Just overtook the 33 of Debbie Dreckman and the 45 of Eddie Hawks.
Yep, I think he'll get back up there towards the end of this.
Oh yeah, no doubt. He had come a very long way there in the early stages, well, before lap number 20. And this is now, he is working his way through the field, slowly but surely, but he's getting away with trouble on the track, with one driver off the track in the grass on the back straightaway. The 95 of Jeffrey Ford in the grass, but the green flag does stay out. Looks like he had some bad luck on the exit of, that was turn 2. Oh, actually there was some bad netcode between him and the 81 of Derek Pemberton. They were nowhere near each other, but there was some false contact between them.
I'm not too sure. I mean, he did move up. That I don't want to start any kind of drama, but they did have an accident earlier in the race. Like I said, I don't want to start anything here, but I just want to leave that possibility open that there was something that happened there.
Oh, absolutely, man. Yeah, that was a bad netcode. I did confirm it here on the track. And ladies and gentlemen, we would like to go to commercial break just so we can get some things fixed. We'll be right back, so please stay tuned.
Don't let your first date be your last. Visit People Against Distracted Driving at PADD.org.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Support for Dealer Buff by LIT Motorsports and season finale of the Precision Racing League American iRacing Sunday Series, brought to you by GenXRacing.com and GemX.com. And GenX Racing is an iRacing-based racing team. They do run A cars, they run B cars. That's going to be the Xfinity Series, the Cup Series, Cup Cars Gen 6, the Camping World Trucks. They do some road racing, dirt. They do it all. So check them out at genxracing.com. And that's going to be on the top left of your screen. Also, GemX.com. GemX specializes in industrial and transportation hardware. So check them out at GemX.com. And GemX is on the top right of your screen. And ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is Support for Dealer Buff by LIT Motorsports. And for all those viewers just now tuning in, well, first of all, welcome to the Dre Broadcasting Network. And Dealer Buff is the wife to one of the drivers here at the Precision Racing League, John LaBeouf. And she's been diagnosed with different types of cancer, and they are trying to, they need help with raising funds to help cover some of the medical expenses, because she is on a feeding tube and there's a lot more expenses than that. So for all those who'd like to donate, please go to the link paypal.me. That is paypal.me/DEELABAFF. That's paypal.me/DLaBuff. So once again, every donation is much appreciated, and it does make a very big difference. So once again, thank you very much, and thanks for tuning in. We do hope that you guys enjoy the race, and we would also like to apologize once again for the technical difficulties that we're having here so far tonight. Well, since this is the final race of the season finale, that means sign-ups are opening up, ladies and gentlemen, for all those who would like to be a part of the action behind the wheel of one of these machines next season with the Precision Racing League. Just check them out at precisionracingleague.com, or go to iRacing and check them out at Precision Racing League. But there is one thing, though. You have to race your way in. Once again, race your way in, because they do take only the best of the best drivers. That's why you see so much amazing racing here at the Precision Racing League week after week. And once again, you will not be disappointed. That's precisionracingleague.com. Well, the drivers this far, Dale, have over 20 laps on their tires and their tanks, and green flag pit stops on the way shortly.
Yeah, it'll be roughly probably 10 to 15 laps from now. Depends on how much they saved. But we will see in 10 or 15 laps, they will come in for some fresh rubber.
Yep, and that fresh rubber is much needed, especially for the drivers like the 19 of Matthew York. It's not really the driver at this point. Maybe it is the machine. Maybe that's not really wanting to stay straight. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that his sideways action just might be costing him here. So he will need those fresh stickers so he can be able to have a lot more grip and keep that machine as straight as it possibly can. Well, straighter than the last time we checked on him. And speaking of the 19 of Matthew York, he is currently in the 13th place spot, trying to catch his next victim, the 41 of Chris Perez. But York does have the machine roaring in his rear view. That's 22 of Matthew Cisna.
Yep, and that is, if Matt is able to catch them, if he was to make a good strategy call and pick before them, that is a lot of cars there. So if he made a good strategy call, he can undercut them, and he can make up, that's probably about 7 positions that he can make up if he plays a smart strategy here.
Oh yeah, that strategy is very important. That could be the difference between gaining spots, losing spots, or maybe staying exactly where you were before you went down to pit road. And, you know, it's very tricky at a track like this, too, Dale, to pit in, because you're going from about 160 plus miles an hour down to pit road speed limit, which is 50 miles an hour. Most drivers make mistakes.
Oh, and especially at this track, because you need to follow the access road that starts on the backstretch, which is definitely one of the hardest parts about pitting this track. And Gateway International Motorsport Park, I believe, is the name of that track. They also have an access road in the back, which you are forced to take if you would like to pit legally, which does make it, it is very difficult to make it onto pit road here.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, these drivers will have to be on their toes. At the same time, that actually makes it a lot easier, a little bit, because they do have to back it down a little bit more than they usually would to take the access road, because the access road does seem to have, the turn is pretty sharp, and if you're carrying way too much speed, you will go through and back on the racetrack before too long into oncoming traffic or ongoing traffic. And that is never a good thing. And here we have a heavy mover, Dale, the 41 of Chris Perez, who started 21st and is currently 12th. That's a teammate.
Yep. He's doing good today. Sorry. Yeah, he is doing good today in this race.
Yes, he is. It goes back to what I talked about, the observation of him, or the observation we made about him basically coming out of his shell a lot more. Basically, he's become more confident. He's gained more confidence in the past couple of seasons. And we have some drivers going down pit road. Brandon Massey backing that sucker down on pit road this time by with 31 laps on his tires and tank. And it's only a matter of time there, Dale, before everybody else starts thinking about the same thing.
Oh yeah, they'll definitely be coming at the end of this lap. I see them now. They're all calling out their pit stops. As soon as that first car comes down pit road, you don't want to be far behind, because you will lose a lot of time. It is the best call is to come in as early as possible without messing up the end of your stint.
Absolutely, and speaking of pit road, it is very, very busy. Daniel Wilborn, Steven Mattox, Dustin Hall, Paul D. Johnson, Carlton Lane, James O'Brien, Matthew York, Craig Hawkins, Eddie Hawks, and Ronald McManus down pit road this time by. And Dale, with the way I've been seeing the machines handle for the most part, I'm doubting anybody's going to be taking 2 tires.
No, I don't think so. At this point, it's too late to anyways. Possibly on the early part of a run, you would be able to, for example, if you got a caution about maybe 5 to maybe 8 laps into a run, you could come in and take 2 tires, and it would give you a good amount of grip without loosening the car too much.
Most definitely, yes. That does really cause quite the unbalance in these machines. And yeah, that would be quite something for these drivers. But looks like they have nothing to lose so far here in the first round of green flag pit stops. And only 2 drivers on the lead lap left to pit in. Actually, scratch that now. 1 driver, Steven Aguiar, is on pit road, but Chris Perez is staying out to lead a lap this time by. Once again, he takes over the race lead. So great job to Chris Perez for leading a lap. And most likely he's going to be going down pit road. Yes, he is going down the access road, going down pit road this time by. And this will round the first. This was going to close the first round of green flag pit stops. And Chris Perez staying out the longest on his tires and tank, 35 laps.
Yep, that is that's the edge of how far you can go on this tank. He played that pretty well. It's always a good strategy, because he is fighting for 3rd place in the championship there, so it is a good idea that he stayed out. He led that lap. He got the bonus point that comes with that. That was very intelligent.
Indeed, as we speak, he is now rolling off pit road. Gonna see exactly how this plays out for him. And scanning the field so far, the driver who had the fastest lap time was the previous race leader, the 10 of Wilborn, with a 12.3 second pit stop. That's 12.3 seconds. And the second driver competing with Wilborn was a second slower than he was. And that's going to be, actually scratch that. We have Cotton Lane, who had a 12.7 second pit stop with Dustin Hall. So we had some drivers very close to him, but not quite. Only 4 to 5 tenths off the pit time of the 10 of Daniel Wilborn. And because of that, Wilborn was able to maintain his race lead, but Massey only being shown 2/10 behind the leader, Wilborn.
Yep, and I noticed that on the beginning of the last run as well. He was really good. He was close, only about a 10th off for that whole run, and he was able to hold that for a while. He only fell back to about half a second, so if David can't do it, if Daniel can't do it, I believe that Brennan can do it.
Yeah, and after having a bad race, or I should say a sudden turn of events last week for Brandon Massey, him leading a lot of laps, him being the fastest driver there was last week at Pocono, and having his race end tragically, where he was a couple of laps down towards the very end. He is back here tonight, trying to have his first win right here at Homestead, Miami, the final race of the season. Can he pull it off? The caution flies on lap 6-3. They are gonna back it up. You see who might have been involved. Ooh, it looks like it involved the 22 of Matthew Cisna. Yes, Matthew Cisna got a piece of the action. Let's back it up on Matthew Cisna. See what happened. Yep. Very, very unfortunate indeed for the 22 of Matthew Cisna. And yeah, that was some hard impact, hard contact between him and that wall. And the going back up front, Wilborn leads everybody down pit road after only having 8 laps on his tires and tank. But we have some drivers staying out. 23 Hawkins gets the wave around. The pace car is going to be back on the lead lap this time by on lap number 65. Matthew Cisna stays out as well, but he is being shown 1 lap down this time by. And this caution is most likely a good thing for some drivers like Cisna, Ronald McManus, John LaBeouf, Jeffrey Ford. These drivers being shown 1 or more laps down. So they'll be able to get at least 1 lap back before as soon as the caution, the lights on the pace car turn off, and we go back 1 to green. And Jeffrey Ford's machine has seen better days. He had some bad luck early on. That Ford Mustang with an amazing paint scheme. That's very, very beautiful. A lot of time and effort was put into that, and it definitely does show. And here in front of him we have the 99 of David Flowers. David Flowers as well got a piece of the action early on. Had some bad luck with Jeffrey Ford, and had to stay on pit road for a while for his pit crew to work on that machine. Actually, that was Flowers and Tom Chisholm, but Flowers is finally back out on the track in 23rd and is ready to get back as many laps as he can.
Yeah, he is a new driver this weekend, and it's good to see that he is still in this race. To say, he is doing well for his first start, I guess. Sometimes it's hard to adapt to some of the drivers, yeah, he's done pretty well in his first start.
Absolutely, yeah. We even look forward to more of him here next season. Yeah, well, let's see exactly what he has to offer, and he will have a lot of time, enough time to adapt to every, I should say, to every driver's driving style next season. Before the halfway mark, or maybe towards the halfway mark, or maybe even after the halfway mark. That's a good thing about this, is that these drivers have enough time to adapt, get used to each other, and that is pretty amazing. And as we speak here in the top 5, we have Wilborn still leading, Brandon Massey 2nd, Markel Murphy 3rd, Stephen Mattox 4th, and Carlton Lane in the 5th place spot. And we have David Dreckman from 15th place to 11th. And unfortunately, we have lost one driver here tonight. The 81 of Derek Pemberton did retire for the evening, but we look forward to seeing this driver back again next season and doing some more damage to the track and his opponents. And as we speak right now, we are now finally back 1 to green. The lights on the pace car do turn off. We are being led by the 10 of Daniel Wilborn, 48 of Murphy behind him on the inside. On the outside is Brandon Massey with the help of the 6 of Steven Mattox. We are going green this time by support for D LaBeouf by LIT Motorsports. For all those new viewers in the chat, welcome to the Dre Broadcasting Network, and we do hope you guys are enjoying the show here with the Precision Racing League. And Kundai, we it's going to be a couple of weeks. They're going to have they take a few weeks off to recruit some drivers, or have the races to race their way, so the drivers can race their way in. And after that, we will be back live. We will know exactly when the season begins. Oh, the pace car does dip off the green, flag flies. Wilborn does catch everybody off guard. 48 of Murphy, second place, battling with the 11 of Brandon Massey. And Massey falls short here entering turn 1. He missed the shift, and Massey is now being challenged by the 6 of Steven Mattox on the exit of 2.
That was not a very good start for Brandon there. Markel was able to capitalize there, and not sure if Steven will be able to. He might get a run here and have a good shot for turn 1, but yeah, that's kind of unfortunate for Brandon Massey there.
Yeah, but he finally is able to just hang on to that third place spot for now. And here behind him we have the one of James O'Brien. James O'Brien driving the outside line, racing the outside line, now pouncing on the 6 of Steven Mattox to his inside, entering turn 3.
Yep, looks like James not quite going to be able to take that position. It looks like he will clear him out of 4. Stephen Aguirre makes a pretty big move on the 6 there. He might even jump down below the 1, going into 1 and 2, and it looks like he has, and he will be side by side coming onto the backstretch.
Yeah, but Steven Aguirre had the a bad exit to turn number 2, and that caused the one of O'Brien to take back, or I should say maintain, the 4th place spot sideways. Oh, James O'Brien, that's 8 of Aguirre, was loose there on the exit of turn number 4, but ended up hanging on to that machine, and we are under caution. And ladies and gentlemen, once again, we do apologize for the technical difficulties. iRacing is having some problems here with the server, which is affecting the broadcast, because we do seem to be losing picture, but we are trying our best to get it back up and running. And for this caution, the 14 of Paul D. Johnson did get a piece of the action. Looks like, yeah, he just got loose there on the exit of 4, tried counter-steering it, but there was no saving it. But the good thing about that was Johnson was able to keep that machine out of harm's way and did not make contact with anything out there. So he will still live to put down some more laps here tonight at Homestead Miami Speedway.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that his race has rolled out like this. I was hoping he would get a good race for his return. He's been on vacation for a little while. But yeah, sometimes it goes like that. It was lucky he didn't get any damage on that spin there. Sadly, he had damage from before.
Yeah, absolutely. And he will be going down pit road this time, bound to get some service on that machine. And maybe his pit crew might work on straightening that machine out, or maybe they've done all they could. But despite the damage that he sustained, he was still being able to keep up with the pace quite well. But up front, everybody pits in except for the top 2 drivers, Brandon Massey and the 10 of Daniel Wilborn. And this does give us some time to get a race interview in. So we'll get a word in with the 11 of Brandon Massey. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are being joined up in the Dre broadcasting booth by the 11 of Brandon Massey with the Ironic Sim Racing team. Get up there, Brandon.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Oh, doing great. Just out here trying to hold on to this race car.
Oh, copy that. And last week, Brandon, you had quite the race, man. But it didn't end as you had intended. You did end up leading the most laps. You had the fastest machine out there. And tonight you are now back, hoping to have an even better race than you did last week at Pocono Raceway. But how's the machine handling so far?
Oh, it's great. It's a little bit of a handful. I'm trying to hold on to it and hold on to Daniel here. He's pretty fast. Generally, though, I'm pretty good. I can hold out for about 20 laps before I really start struggling, so I'm pretty happy.
Oh, 10-4. That is very, very good to hear. And how's the tire doing out there? We've actually noticed something. We only have a select few drivers who are preferring to use the outside line, while others not so much. So basically, more people are using the inside than the outside.
Yeah, right now the tires are really so-so. I built my setup in morning, expecting a morning race, because obviously I don't read anything. So I'm trying to overcome a little bit of a tightness. I've made some pit road adjustments, hopefully get that swung back in. But yeah, like you said, this track's really line sensitive. You're not really able to use those bottom strips as much as I would like to.
Oh, 10-4. Well, we are glad that you are staying alive, despite this track being a handful, like you have described it. And you are here up front. You came to the front and stayed up front. You did start in the 5th place spot and maintained the top 5 here this far. Had an amazing green flag pit stop cycle. And now you are coming out to your second one here before too long. And give us a rundown of your pit stop.
Oh, it was pretty basic. Luckily, I managed to get down there. I'm always iffy. I'm hit or miss on pit road. I'm just glad to manage to get down there and get pushed out pretty quick. Hopefully, we'll get some more green flag runs, because apparently me and Daniel can really pull some gaps if we get some.
Oh, 10-4, man. And what's the strategy going for the remainder of the race? When do you think it's going to be go time for you?
Oh, it's already go time for me. I just know if I pass Daniel in 5 laps, he's going to pass me back. So I'm just trying to time that. Get him when I can, if I can. He's a very hard driver, so it's going to be tough.
Oh, 10-4, Brandon. Well, buddy, you have come a long way here tonight, so keep doing exactly what you're doing. We look forward to seeing you one spot higher as soon as the race ends. I should say before the race is over. So, buddy, see you in victory lane and have a good race.
You too, guys. Thank you.
That was Ironic Sim Racing driver 11 of Brandon Massey here in the 2nd place spot. And we are now back 1 to green, being led by Daniel Wilborn. Dustin Hall behind him on the inside. On the outside, Brandon Massey with the help of the 48 of Markel Murphy. We are going green this time by. And once the green flag flies, we will have 50 laps remaining.
And out of 4, looks like the pace car is going to peel off here. Daniel goes. That was a little bit after the pace car, but he is still going to be able to make a pretty good gap into turn 1.
Yep, and that now leaves the battle again to the 2nd place driver Massey and Dustin Hall challenging him side by side off turn 248. Murphy gonna follow the line of the 11 of Massey and slingshot engaged off 2, and he will clear Dustin Hall successfully, entering turn number 3. And Steven Mattox here in this mix gonna go high. Oh man, it gets loose, goes sideways, gonna hang on to it.
Wow, that was a pretty good save. We've seen some good saves tonight. That was a good one.
Oh, yes, it was. And that's going to be the 3rd driver we've seen do some dirt tracking on the exit of turn number 4. And at this point, it is safe to say turn 4 is the worst enemy of these drivers this far. And they are trying to, I guess that explains why everybody's riding one groove higher, just like Massey had talked about.
Yeah, I guess so. This is, kind of tough to drive late afternoon. This is it's kind of fun, I guess. Really hot track, that's pretty fun because you can just, it's going to be harder for everybody. So if you can master a hot track, then you can master all the track, I guess.
Absolutely, man. Great saying. Oh, some trouble on the track. 6 of Mattox, I believe. Oh, man.
Does not appear to
So-
be. That is...
The one, yeah, that's one of James O'Brien. The 8 of Aguiar off the track, spun out as we speak. Let's please back up on replay there if we can and see what happened to these drivers. That's the one of O'Brien and Stephen Aguiar.
Well, as we take
I guess that's just an unfortunate situation. I think James had thought that Steven was going to turn in earlier than he was going to, and Aguiar, I guess, was just trying to slow down, and sadly he caught the apron and got caught up in that. Unfortunate, but luckily for Steven, he was able to miss the pit road, and so was James, so they will be able to continue with no black flags.
Absolutely, yep. Should say wrong place, wrong time for both drivers involved in that. But yes, that will really set them a ways back, a long ways back. So they do have a lot of work to do, a lot more work than before. So this will make things interesting. And at this point, these two drivers are most likely hoping for a caution. Oh, actually looking at something here, Dale, a very interesting fact. We have the two drivers, the top two drivers, Daniel Wilborn and Brandon Massey, stayed out the last caution, which means they have 8 laps more on their tires compared to everybody else.
Yeah, and Brandon has just made a pass for the lead, I believe. But yeah, they did stay out, and it is quite surprising to me that their setups are so dominant that they are able to still gap to the cars that are following them. I'm quite surprised that they are still able to be faster than everybody else.
Yeah, that is quite surprising, and that is those are some amazing setups under these machines. And great job, very commendable to both drivers, putting in the time and effort into these setups and making these machines as fast as they are here as we speak. And Dustin Hall in 3rd place, being shown about 9/10 of a second behind the leader, Brandon Massey. He is trying to catch up to him, but right now Hall is being approached by the 48 of Markel Murphy. And actually going back up front, Massey is now catching up to a machine. That's going to be the 95 of Jeffrey Ford. Jeffrey Ford here, the damaged machine, the damaged Ford Mustang, most likely going to be going 1 lap down because it is way under speed. All that damage is really affecting the top end of his beast. And here in the 10th place spot, the 28 of Eric Roberts. Haven't spoken much of Eric Roberts tonight, if any, but he too is an amazing driver. But he has been keeping a very low profile tonight by the looks of it. But he is now back in the 10th place spot. He did start 11th. He's now in the top 10, holding the keys and the door to the top 10. His next victim is the 60 of Caution Lane.
Yeah, I would say in this league, Eric is one of the biggest sleepers. Sometimes you won't suspect him to be one of the fastest, but he usually always is one of the fastest. That will catch you off guard for sure.
Oh, absolutely, yep. And do not mistake his, what should I say, his conservative driving for slowness. That will leave you disappointed every time. And we had a position change between the 33 of David Dreckman and the 60 of Caution Lane, who are now going on the 95 of Jeffrey Ford, who just went 1 more lap down, put 6 laps down, unfortunately, but he is still going nice and strong despite that. He is trying to maximize his points before the season ends.
Yep, and that's always the best. And he told me, well, he had stated it before this race started that he had in just the last 3 races, he's moved up from, I believe, 30th in the points to 13th, and that's just how close it is back there for some of the people who have missed some of the races this season. It is quite close back there.
Oh yes, it is, and man, that is a lot. Those are a lot of positions gained. 30 from 30th to 13th place, very, very impressive. And yeah, very bad luck to all those drivers who ended up having to miss some races early on in the season. Well, during the halfway mark in the season there at Sonoma Raceway, we had the hurricane there in Florida. That did catch a lot of drivers. Basically, the drivers were in the path of the hurricane, and they did have to miss 1 or 2 races as a result. And that did cost them in the points, including one of James O'Brien, defending champion. So that's been sad to see for all these drivers who ended up having bad luck, more bad luck than good luck all season long. We look forward to seeing these drivers back again for a better season next season here with the Precision Racing League American iRacing Sunday Series, brought to you by Gen X Racing and GemX.com. Well, here as we speak, for the back in this pack, actually we have a position change. Yeah, the 10 of Wilborn was able to take back the race lead away from the 11 of Brandon Massey, but they are still very, very close to each other, less than a tenth within each other's bumpers, I should say.
Yeah, and it would appear that we've now gotten to the point that 8 laps is starting to hurt the 11 and the 10, as the 37 and 48 have both been able to catch up to them significantly. This may turn into a couple more drivers who have the lead instead of the 2 that we've seen for the whole race so far.
Yeah, and Dale, you mentioned it. Yeah, you know, getting to these drivers is one thing, but making the pass against them, getting around them is another thing. And as we speak, it looks like 37 of Dustin Hoy is trying to figure out a way to get around the 11 of Massey. Also, one thing I've noticed is that passing at this track in the later stage, or I should say this late in the run, is quite tricky or nearly impossible.
It will be for sure. But it will be hard for Brandon to defend, as he's run out of a lot of tire at this point. I would say that him and Daniel are close to their pit stop. Obviously, the 37 and 48 will have another at least 8 laps that they can go further than the 11 and the 10. I don't think that they will take up that time, obviously, because of the undercut, and 8 laps will make a huge difference. But it will be interesting to see how this sequence will play out if, for example, the 37 and 48 decide to go to the end of their stint, if they can make it on, you know, however many stops versus the 11 and the 10.
And speaking of those pit stops right there, Dale, we are now in the final pit window. At this point, if the drivers pit in now, starting now towards the very end of the race, they will be able to make it the remainder of the way. We have 33 laps remaining. As a driver right now, let's say you're behind the wheel right now, Dale, and the pit window opens with about 33 laps remaining. What's your strategy? Go in as soon as the pit window opens, or maybe run the tank dry to have newer tires?
Usually I let other people dictate what my strategy is going to be. I will see, you know, if people want to pit, I will pit within their windows. If people decide to stay out all the way, I'm fine. I'll go the rest of the way. But usually I don't like to follow the sequence with other people. I don't like to make too risky of moves, because sometimes moves that, you know, don't follow everybody else, especially, you know, this is late, so this is the defining moment. If you get a bad run onto pit road, then you have messed up essentially the end of your race.
Absolutely, and very, very nicely said. And yeah, this last green flag pit stop, this last pit stop will be very, very important. It will really change things up, shake things up. And with the way Wilborn and Massey have been, they've been very tight pretty much more than half the race. So if I were to guess right now, Dale, I would guess that Wilborn and Massey will be going down pit road at the exact same time, or the same lap.
Yeah, it will be very soon now. I believe that they will come down to pit road.
And with 30 laps remaining, ladies and gentlemen, 3 laps remaining, 96 laps completed. We will take another commercial break this time so you guys can get some more popcorn and refreshments, and so we can thank our sponsors. We'll be right back, so stay tuned.
Don't let your first date be your last. Visit People Against Distracted Driving at PADD.org.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Support for Dealer Buff by LIT Motorsports. That's support for Dealer Buff by LIT Motorsports and season finale of the Precision Racing League American iRacing Sunday Series, brought to you by GenX Racing.com. That's Gen X Racing, and Gen X Racing is an iRacing-based racing team. They do run Gen 6 cars. That's going to be the A cars, B cars, which are known as Xfinity cars, C class, which is the trucks. They also do road racing, they do dirt tracking, anything fun, they do it. So check them out at genxracing.com. And this season is also brought to you by GymX.com. And GymX specializes in industrial and transportation hardware. That's industrial and transportation hardware. So check them out at GymX.com. Well, this is the season finale, like I talked about, the season finale right here at Homestead, Miami. And with that said, for all those interested in being a part of the action next season, meaning if you'd like to be behind one of the wheels of these machines, just go to precisionracingleague.com, check them out, precisionracingleague.com, or check them out on iRacing at Precision Racing League. That's Precision Racing League on iRacing. But you do have to race your way in. Once again, race your way in. You have to do so, because they do only take the best of the best. The best drivers they can find are the ones they take, and that is exactly why you race your way in. And they also cap the fields at 32 drivers, so 32 machines maximum. That's 32 machines maximum, and that's going to be 8 four-man teams. So 4-man teams, 8 4-man teams once again. That's exactly what we have here as well this season. So once again, precisionracingleague.com. For all those new viewers in the chat, welcome to the Dre Broadcasting Network. For the existing and returning viewers, welcome back to the Dre Broadcasting Network. And we just finally concluded our final round of green flag pit stops, this time with James O'Brien and Stephen Aguiar being the final drivers, all the last drivers to go down to pit road. And Daniel Wilborn still leading, Markel Murphy second, Brandon Massey third, Dustin Hall fourth, and Steven Johnston in the 5th place spot. And Dale, speaking of Steven Johnston, I haven't seen much of him ever since we crossed the halfway mark, but he is back.
Yeah, I guess so. That was because he had gotten probably into that incident with the 6 of Stephen Maddox there. That could have damaged his car a little bit, could have, damaged his tires a little bit, the sliding that happened. But yeah, nice to see that he's recovered from that.
Absolutely, yes. His machine, the front left does have some damage, including the right front as well. But he is still doing an amazing job despite that. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, we do apologize for the technical difficulties that we've been having here tonight. But once again, we are hard at work trying to get them fixed. Yes, so far we are still green flag racing, 15 laps remaining. That is 15 laps left here in tonight's race. Everybody can make it the remainder of the way. Well, except for one driver, Jeffrey Ford, who will be going down pit road before too long. But he is being shown in 19th place, 6 laps down. So at this point, I'm sure he has enough time to do so. And it is still good to see him going despite his bad luck early on. And at this point, we're only showing 14 drivers on the lead lap. And the caution flies this time by. Gonna try and see who was involved in this one. And unfortunately, we won't be able to get that on replay as we are trying to get the screen back up. That is a priority at the moment. Ooh, that involved the 22 of Matthew Cessna. Heavy smoke from the rear end. Ooh, yeah. That was a bad incident on Matthew Cessna's part. Not sure exactly what happened to Matthew. But that did bring out the caution here with now 13 laps remaining. And Matthew Cessna is now on pit road as we speak, getting that damage fixed. Hopefully his pit crew has enough time to get that machine fixed so he can be able to get back out there to put down some more laps. So as many laps as he possibly can before the race ends. But up front here, Wilborn is on the access road. He is leading everybody down pit road this time by. And the question is, who will follow and who will stay out? Yep, everybody down pit road except for the 23 of Craig Hawkins and the 41 of Chris Perez. And this should give a 23 of Craig Hawkins the race lead this time by. Nope, he's gonna have to stay out one more lap in order for him to be registered as the new race leader. And that's going to be lap 115 with 11 laps remaining. And Dale, with 11 laps remaining in the race, would you think staying out, basically, would you think the strategy of Chris Perez, including Craig Hawkins, is good? Basically, them staying out with basically 10 laps left with everybody else pitting in?
I don't know if it's going to be good, but it'll make it interesting for sure. Making a strategy call like that, that takes a little bit of confidence, I guess, and it looks like he's going to come down now, but that takes a little bit of balls for that, you know, because there's a big chance that you won't, there's a big chance that you won't be able to hold on to that.
Absolutely. He pitted in, but the other driver did stay out. 41 of Chris Perez staying out, and will take over the race lead this time by on lap 113 with 11 laps remaining. And judging by the way that the strategy of Wilborn and Massey played out, basically the strategy they had of staying out with 8-lap older tires, it actually ended up working out for a few laps, about 10 laps before it started coming back to bite them in the back. But in this case, I don't think it applies to Chris Perez, because Perez has double the amount of laps that they had.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we will see how this plays out for him. You know, this could play out well for him, but there's a chance that it might come back to bite him.
Yep, and so far Chris Perez once again takes over the race lead. Daniel Wilborn second, Markel Murphy third, Brandon Massey fourth, and Craig Hawkins in the 5th place spot, rounding up the top 5. And in front of Perez we have Steven Aguiar trying to get one lap back this time by. Wants to go one to green, same as the one of James O'Brien. These two drivers got a piece of the action early on. Well, not really early on, but it was before the second round, or I should say the last round of pit stops, when they were both sideways there off the track, spun out, and that did not bring out the caution. But they are now finally getting their laps back on the lead lap. Both drivers once again, James O'Brien and Steven Aguiar, having 7 laps on their tires and tanks this far. So they should be able to still be competitive, because that is that's not too many laps on their tires, and that is most likely good enough. That should be good enough for them to get the job done, judging from Daniel Wilborn's strategy compared to Brandon Massey early on. But we are now back one to green once again. Perez in the lead with the help of the 48 of Markel Murphy. Wilborn on the outside line with the help of the 11 of Brandon Massey, going green this time by. And once the green flag flies, it's going to be 9 laps remaining.
9 laps, that's a pretty good distance. This could make it interesting. There's still enough time that if there is a caution in maybe 2 laps, that we will get another restart right for the end of the race to put it at 2 laps to go for a restart in case there was a caution. I like seeing Brandon. He recovered from that sort of incident that he had on pit road, the slow stop, and he's still there. He's still in the fight, and he can still do this. And as the pace car pulls off, Chris just goes right to it. He's going to pull away a little bit from Daniel there, going into turn 1.
Yep, and that great restart by Chris Perez was most likely much needed, considering he has 14 laps more on his tires compared to everybody else. But behind him, second place, battling Markel and Daniel Wilborn. And Wilborn slingshotting dead off turn 2, and will need a big nose against Murphy. But Murphy to the inside still. They're going to go 3 wide. Yes, they are going to go 3 wide. Oh man, yeah, 48 of Murphy had the worst end of that wheel. He was pitched down to the low lane, and his machine was pushing, so he had to back it down to avoid getting up to the 10 of Wilborn and causing a chain reaction. But we still do stay green, and behind him, Brandon Massey is now third place in line, and Perez goes from first place to fourth place here in one lap.
And going through 3 and 4 now. At 48, he's getting close to that 10 there. He might be able to make a move here for the lead and steal that away. He wasn't able to do that earlier in the race, but we'll see how this goes here. He's going to dive to the bottom here. He might just get under him. That's really close. Wow, the 10 cut him off there. That was close there.
And right behind them there, Dale, we do have a cluster, and a battle actually. It's going to be between 41 of Perez and Eric Roberts, but the cluster I'm talking about includes or involves Steven Mattox. Oh, Dustin Hall gets into the wall. Dustin Hall gets sucked into the wall. It does spit him out. No harm done to anybody else but himself. Oh, that's unfortunate. He goes off the track to let the faster traffic by. The caution flies here on lap 120. Oh,
that could be the end of the race.
Laps. Now we're going to have a one-lap shootout, I believe.
Possibly.
Yeah, fingers crossed for that. And Matthew York was involved in the incident. So let's focus on Matthew York and see what happened. Oh man, yeah, very unfortunate indeed for the 19 of Matthew York. He tried counter-steering that sucker, but he got to the point of no return. Basically what that means is a point where you're so sideways that no matter what you do, you will not be able to save that machine. But he was able to, still do good by not hitting anything or not making contact with anything, just like Dave had talked about. And here up front, we are being led still by the 10 of Daniel Wilborn, Markel Murphy second, Brandon Massey third, Carlton Lane fourth, and Steven Johnston in the 5th place position. And this does give us some time to get a race interview in. So let's focus on the 22 of Matthew Cisna. Oh, actually, unfortunately, we have lost the 22 of Matthew Cisna tonight. Oh man, it was an amazing appearance on his part. Let's focus on the 99 of David Flowers instead. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are being joined up in the Dre Broadcasting booth by the 99 of David Flowers. Get up there, David.
Yeah, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Frustrated, but that's just due to the setup.
Oh, I can only imagine, man. But it is very, very commendable seeing you still staying out there despite having that bad luck early on. But how has the machine been handling here at Homestead, Miami?
I mean, it's been handling good. I needed super loose at the beginning and just went to turn 3 and it got too loose and couldn't save it.
Oh, 10-4, that makes sense. Yeah, it does seem as though it's very, very loose for some drivers and a little bit tight for some. And yeah, like you said, on your side, it was a little bit too loose. And David, what kind of changes did you have to make on your machine to make it a lot more acceptable or drivable?
Wait 2 laps and it starts to come in.
Oh, 10-4, that does make sense. Wait 2 laps, put some heat into those tires, and that machine will respond before too long. And David, this is your first race here with the Precision Racing League American iRacing Sunday Series. And should we expect to see more of you here next season?
I hope so. Got to see if I got to race my way in first.
Oh, 10-4, man. Well, David, you have had a heck of an appearance here tonight. You were doing well in practice and qualifying, and we look forward to seeing you back again here at the Precision Racing League American iRacing Sunday Series next season. Well, David, once again, it's very commendable what you're doing out here. We are sorry to see and hear about your misfortune tonight, but once again, we do appreciate you sticking around and putting down as many laps as you could.
Thanks, appreciate it.
And that was the 99 of David Flowers, a new driver to the Precision Racing League American iRacing Sunday Series. Had a very, very bad race tonight, very bad start to tonight's race. He said it was due to his setup being a little bit way too loose for his liking. Basically, he did not have control of his machine as much as he would have liked to, and that did end up costing him the race. Well, we are now back 1 to green, this time by 1 lap shootout, Dale. 1 lap shootout, getting up to speed at the same time while they race.
Oh yeah, and then when it's 1 to go, there's no more cautions. It's just race all the way back to the line, and that's just how it goes. It's how racing should be here. So this is going to be interesting to see if Markel can hold it up there and if Brandon's going to be able to make a move. Colton Lane is also up here. He might have a good chance to take the win and also take 3rd place in the championship standings.
And the pace car does dip off. Wilborn does catch them off guard once again. The 48 of Murphy does see it coming enough to maintain the 2nd place spot, but 3rd place driver Massey is being challenged by the 60 of Lane. I should say is challenging the 60 of Cotton Lane so he can be able to maintain that 3rd place spot. And Cotton Lane is trying to find 5th gear with a slingshot off turn 2. Yes, slingshot engaged on Cotton Lane. The 48 of Murphy got a little bit loose off the exit of 2 and is trying to still pounce. Oh, contact with the 3rd place driver, 11 of Massey, and the 60 of Lane, who goes way wide to avoid causing trouble off turn 4, single file 1st through 3rd. Wilborn brings this thing home. 48 Marquez comes out 2nd, Massey 3rd, Cotton Lane 4th, and Steven Johnston in the 5th place spot. What a finish.
There's a big wreck there at the back. Something happened. I'm not sure who entirely that was involving, but there was a wreck back there, I believe.
Oh yes, there wasn't involved. The 19 of Matthew York, the 8 of Aguiar, 99 David Flowers, Paul D. Johnson, Dustin Hall got a piece of the action as well. So that was a 4-to-5 car wreck there. But yeah, the race ends, and those were your top 5 drivers right there. Amazing race, amazing end to the season here with the Precision Racing League American iRacing Sunday Series. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be interviewing the top 3 drivers: Daniel Wilborn, Markel Murphy, and Brandon Massey. So please stay tuned. Well, ladies and gentlemen, up in the Dre Broadcasting booth, we are joined by the top 3 drivers. Wilborn burning that sucker down yet again. Markel Murphy 2nd, and Brandon Massey in the 3rd place spot, rounding up the top 3 here tonight at Homestead, Miami for the final race of the season. We will start with tonight's race winner, the 10 of Daniel Wilborn. How are you tonight, Daniel?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing good.
Well, Daniel, once again, man, you'd never cease to amaze us. Having another win here at Homestead, Miami, the final race of the season. I've always talked about how you came in late in the season with every time we interview you, and that is I like to highlight that because despite you coming in late, that did not stop you from finding 5th gear and taking names week after week. But how's been your experience this season so far, the races that you've raced?
It's been good. I like this league right here. They're a bunch of a bunch of good guys, and I like racing with them. Wish I could have came in a little bit earlier, try to fight for a championship, but overall, it's a very good league.
Oh, most definitely, man. Very, very glad to hear. And tell us about your experience tonight, Daniel. It seemed as though your biggest opponent was the 11 of Brandon Massey, but then you ended up having better pit stops, and that did end up separating you for the most part.
Yeah, Brandon was right up on me the whole race, and I was trying to loosen the car up some more. It started getting tight, like after lap 15. I was trying to loosen it up for that long run, but just overall it kept on getting tight. And I did have really good pit stops. I don't know how. Normally I'm not too good at pit stops.
Absolutely. Yeah, speaking of those pit stops you ended up having the fastest pit times, both the first round and the second round of pit stops. So it's very, very commendable. You must have been doing something right with those with your pit crew. Most likely 5-hour energy did end up working. Well, Daniel, with what you've been doing so far this season and with how you've been pretty much adapting to and just getting used to everybody throughout the whole entire season, what are your expectations for next season? Basically, what should we expect to see from you?
Hopefully get some more wins, top 5, just try to stay competitive with everyone.
Oh, 10-4, man. Well, once again, congrats on your success so far this season, despite coming in late. But we look forward to seeing more of you here, and hopefully you will be the driver who takes the crown away from our upcoming champion here next season. And in final words, before we let you go, any final words?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Chris for the setup and Simtech Racing, and just for y'all doing the broadcast. Thank you.
Congrats on your success once again, Daniel. Go celebrate, you earned it, and see you next season.
All right, thank you. I'll see y'all next season.
And that was Daniel Wilborn. And next in line is the season champion, the new champion here, the 48 of Markel Murphy. Get a cup there, Markel.
Yes, sir, I do.
How you doing tonight?
Doing great.
Oh, man. Well, coming into this race, you were over 30 points ahead of your biggest opponent, who at that point was the third place driver, because the second place driver could not make it tonight. That was Chris Perez. And last week, your biggest opponent was Johnny Pierce, who ended up having a bad race, which did end up benefiting you, but then hurting him. And coming into tonight's race, you had a very, very big lead, and that has paid off. Well, first of all, tell us about your season this season, man.
It was a good season. I didn't expect to be the champion at the end, especially without having a win, but I guess consistency this whole season really paid off.
Absolutely, consistency is very, very key, and we just learned that race after race, I should say season after season, with you guys here. Here at the Precision Racing League. It has been a well-fought battle, well-fought race on your part. You've had some ups and downs here and there, but more ups than downs, and that has been very, very amazing to see. And tell us about your experience tonight, man. You came from 20th place to second place, gaining 18 spots overall, despite a lot of drivers having a lot of difficulties out there.
It was a pretty good race. All in all, I couldn't really complain. Had a decent setup. Really didn't expect to have anything for Daniel at the end. On that last long run before that, caution before last, I didn't expect to keep up with him, but I did. So I really thought I had something, at least for the long run. When that caution came out, it really kind of killed me. Other than that, I had a great race. Everybody really showed their stuff tonight.
Oh, 10-4, man. Very glad to hear about that. And Markel, in those closing stages, I know you guys only had a one-lap shootout. But do you think if you had 1 to 2 more laps of racing, green flag racing, do you think you would have had something against Wilborn?
Nah, I didn't have anything for him. I ran it too hard, the caution before last, and then on that last one, I was just praying I didn't get past at least up to 6, because I was tight and loose at the same time.
Oh man, wow. Well, we are glad you were still able to you're still able to come out here in second place, getting 18 spots overall, being one of the hardest chargers tonight. And Markel, once again, the most important thing, you are the new champion here of the Precision Racing League American iRacing Sunday Series. How do you feel about that?
It feels great. I didn't expect it this season, but with the consistency, and I was really hoping that Johnny was going to come tonight. I had all my math worked out, but it wasn't needed. But it was still a fun race altogether. It was a great season with these guys. So glad I did come back for season 2. I'm really looking forward to season 3 to hopefully defend my title.
Oh, copy that. And Markel, you do know that, I'm sure you've noticed this, but season after season, the competition here at Precision Racing League gets nothing but stiffer and stiffer. So with that said, what do you think are the changes you're going to have to make? The changes you're going to have to make in order to hang on to your title?
Really going to have to get accustomed to driving the car and making the setup for like looser in the run. But this build that iRacing has released has really thrown me a curveball. The last build I was fine, but this one is really putting your A game to work. You really have to work on the setup. You really can't just throw anything in it and expect to win. You really have to work on it. So that's definitely something that I will have to work on for next season.
Oh, copy that, man. We look forward to seeing that put into action and you defending your title against all the hungry lions roaring in your rear view race after race until the final race of that season, that upcoming season. And once again, Markel, it has been amazing watching you battle all season long, watching you pretty much pick yourself up when you've been pretty much given curveballs here all season long. But once again, very commendable, and congrats on your success all season long. And the most important thing, congratulations on being the new champion here of the Precision Racing League American iRacing Sunday Series. And I do have a feeling that James O'Brien will come back hungry, trying to take back what was rightfully his, which was that crown. So be on your toes next season there, Markel. And buddy, before I let you go, any final words, shout outs you'd like to give?
Yeah, especially to my sponsors. I'd like to thank CBS Digital and Excess Power for sticking with me. This will be their 7th season with me. I really appreciate them always encouraging me to come out here and do my best and represent them in a proud manner. And I'd like to thank you guys for always putting on a great broadcast, especially for the fans and us. And I'd like to thank all of my competitors who I've raced with. No matter anything I've said to you, you are a great racer.
Well, congrats once again, Markel, doing the Flat Out Motorsports. Very, very proud. So with that said, buddy, go celebrate, and we look forward to your return next season.
Thanks, guys.
And that was season champion, the new champion, the first ever, that's his first championship with the Precision Racing League American iRacing Sunday Series, Markel Murphy. But next in line is a 3rd place finisher. We had a chance to speak with him before the race ended. The 11 of Brandon Massey. Get a cup there, Brandon.
Got you guys. How you doing?
Oh, doing good, but most likely not as good as you're doing. Because, man, that was a heck of a show on your parts tonight. And those well-executed green flag pit stops definitely did play a key role when it came to your performance here tonight. And speaking of those green flag pit stops, Brandon, give us a rundown with your about your last green flag pit stop against Daniel Wilborn.
Yeah, my setup builder and friend Ken Carruthers, he came in mid-race crew chief for me. He tried some new setup changes there for me, or changed some tire pressures. It really killed my car. As you can see, that's when Daniel and Markel were really gapping me. That last caution saved my life. We got in there, reversed the changes, made some others, and I was good. I just wish I could have got in a little bit harder.
Oh, 10-4, man. Very sorry to hear about that late race change affecting your machine negatively, but you still being able to come out here in the third place on the podium for the final race of the season. And Brandon, man, this season has been your best season, in my opinion. It has been your best season, and you were able to pretty much change up your driving style, your racing style. What contributed to you changing up your racing style? Basically, do you think maybe it was because you guys went from fixed setups to open setups, and that made you a lot more comfortable?
Yeah, honestly, it did. My buddy Ken, I run with him, be open every week. I ran with him since season 2 here. he took a hiatus because he loves open setups, and obviously I was struggling, but I held on because I love this league. As you can tell, halfway through the season, I got him back, and that's when you see me back in his setups, and I'm comfortable again. So I'm really able to just drive that core on the line because I really trust whatever he gives me, and it's what helped my performance a lot. Without him, I'd be in back of the pack, honestly.
Oh, copy that, man. Yeah, glad to hear about that. And that does prove that teamwork is very, very key. And Brandon, it also comes down to the driver. You have been an amazing driver and making those setups work. And once again, that is very, very commendable. And with that said, Brandon, what is your mentality? Basically, what strategy do you have in mind going into next season? Do you have a strategy of a winning strategy, basically a strategy of dethroning Markel Murphy?
Some of these guys, like Daniel, for instance, I'm not going to be able to beat them in the driver championship. But what we can do is, as a team, we can try to go for the driver championship. I don't think we made it. I'll have to do the points calculations. We were second in points of this race as a team. I don't think we managed to get the finishes to dethrone them, guys. I think it was Ford Lane Motorsports. But so hopefully next season, if I can't get a driver championship, which I probably can't, I hope that we can get a team championship for iRacing.
Oh, most definitely, brother. Well, buddy, congrats on your success this season. And you're going to be finishing, that's going to be 7th place in points doing the Ironic Sim Racing team. Very proud. I'll take a top 10 anytime with these so many amazing drivers here with the Precision Racing League. Well, buddy, it's been amazing seeing you grow all season long. And we look forward to seeing what you just said, you putting that into action next season. Well, buddy, final words before I let you go.
Yeah, I got a couple. In a second, I'm going to, if you don't mind, pitch the next season. And real quick, I do want to thank, obviously, Ken Carruthers. Thank you for the setup, dude. You've really brought me back. I would like to thank Ironic Sim Racing. I love racing with you guys. We do it every single day. I also want to thank the drivers, the organizers here. Obviously, I'm one of those, but everyone here does a stand-up job. I love racing with every single one of you every Sunday. And I also want to thank Chris Roberts from Overclock Motorsports and all the guys over at Simtech Racing for helping us here at PRL learn how to do setups and making us better drivers overall.
Oh, absolutely. And Brandon, you are also an admin here with the Precision Racing League. Basically, what's your message to the viewers out there who would like to become drivers next season? Basically, what do they need to do and what they need to know?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. If you're interested in more information or anything, just go over to precisionracingleague.com, head to the forums, and you can either view our new truck series we'll be running on Wednesdays. It won't be broadcast. And then, obviously, Season 8 of the Xfinity. This season is going to start on December the 3rd. We're doing Race Your Way in races, obviously, which means we're trying to take the best of the best. Come in, show your stuff. We'll bring in up the guys in points from 2 or 3 races. Fill the seats that we need. We're also doing some invitationals. If you're a good driver, reach out to us. Let us see what you do. We'll bring you in. We're trying to bring in really high caliber drivers as well as some of the guys we already have here. So hopefully we're doing a good job of that, and we're trying to get this really seriously.
Oh, man, absolutely. Once again, that's precisionracingleague.com, ladies and gentlemen. Precisionracingleague.com. Just go to the forums, just like he had talked about. And Brandon, you said you wonder if you're doing an amazing job. Yes, you guys are doing an amazing job. And the competition season after season does speak for itself, because it gets nothing but stiffer with every single season. Just to clarify, did you say the next season starts December 3rd?
Correct. December 3rd, we're adding in some nice goodies for people too. We're going to add in a chase for champion in a NASCAR style. It'll be a 4-car. We're even going to do a non-broadcast all-star race mid-season, which will be a 200-lap race at Charlotte. So we've got a lot of fun in store next season. We've got a great rule package, and we think everybody's going to enjoy it, and we hope so.
Oh, man, that is something to be excited about. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, precisionracingleague.com. Well, Brandon, once again, great job with the Ironic Sim Racing team there. Craig Hawkins, also Eddie Hawks included, and Ronald McManus. And we look forward to seeing you guys back again next season here with the new changes and additions with the Precision Racing League, with a chase series and all-star races coming up. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, precisionracingleague.com, and this was Brandon Massey. Have a good night, buddy. Go celebrate.
You too, guys.
And that was Brandon Massey, one of the admins here with the Precision Racing League, and he finished 3rd tonight, but finished 7th in points with the Ironic Sim Racing team. And we have some word: the team that won the team championship is the Ford Lane Motorsports team. That's the Ford Lane Motorsports team. That includes Jeffrey Ford, Stephen Mattox, Zachary York, and Cotton Lane. Once again, Cotton Lane, Jeffrey Ford, Stephen Mattox, and Zachary York. So congratulations to these drivers, and also a big congratulations to the new champion, the 48 of Markel Murphy. And Dale, once again, we want to congratulate you too on an amazing season, well-fought season on your part, and you were 3rd in points, tied for 3rd in points, starting tonight's race with Chris Perez, and you will finish 5th place with Big D's Racing here, so 5th place in points, and doing the Big D's Racing, very, very proud. So that is very, very commendable. Also want to thank you very much for coming up here in the Dre Broadcasting booth to assist, to help us with the commentating. We do appreciate that very much. And with that said there, Dale, what are your expectations for next season, your own expectations?
I expect that I will do probably around as good as I was this season. I'm going to try to get some top 10s and top 5s, and I'm going to try to maybe get 1 win, maybe a couple wins, but I'm expecting some good things for myself next season.
Oh, copy that. That is always a good thing with the Big D's Racing. That is, once again, that gives us something to look forward to even more. And it's been amazing seeing you grow season after season, and you're getting nothing but better. That you're headed the right direction, and that is very commendable and amazing to see once again. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, this was support for D LaBeouf by LIT Motorsports. Support for D LaBeouf by LIT Motorsports. And this was the season finale. Well, support for D LaBeouf. Once again, D LaBeouf, for those new viewers or those who might not have heard me when I talked about it before, D LaBeouf is the wife to John LaBeouf, and she has been diagnosed with different types of cancer, and they need our help. They need as much help as they can get with funds. Basically, they would like to raise some funds to help cover the medical expenses, some of the medical expenses, because she is on a feeding tube, and there are a lot more other medical expenses that go into that. So for all those who would like to donate, please go to the link paypal.me/DEELABAFF. That is paypal.me/DLaBeouf. And once the broadcast ends, we will put her story in the description with the link for the PayPal for all those who would like to donate. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, every donation is much appreciated. It goes a very long way and makes a very, very big difference. Also, I would like to thank all you viewers out here, new and old, for being here with the Dre Broadcasting Network all season long with the Precision Racing League American iRacing Sunday Series. We'd like to thank Precision Racing League for having the Dre Broadcasting aboard the action train here this season and the previous seasons, because we've been on for about 3 to 4 seasons here with the Precision Racing League. At the same time, we also like to thank iRacing, iRacing.com. I want to thank iRacing for giving Dre Broadcasting Network and the Precision Racing League a chance and the courtesy and the honor of being on the iRacing portal. Once again, iRacing.com. And for all those interested in enjoying this amazing simulation, just go to iRacing.com and you will not be disappointed. You'll find all the information you need to know about that. A bunch of videos on YouTube and iRacing page on Facebook and YouTube as well. They have their own YouTube channel, so check them out. iRacing.com on YouTube, Facebook, and just iRacing.com itself for you guys to get started. I am Sean Zulu, and David Everly behind the cameras, being joined by Darryl Robertson. And Dave, before we close off, you have any final thoughts for the final race of the season?
No, it's just an exciting finish. Can't wait for the next season.
Absolutely. Well, once again, thank you for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. And the next broadcast is tomorrow night with the ExtremeMotorsports99.com Pro Can-Am Series at Kansas Speedway. So if you guys would like to be a part of that, check us out. Extreme Motorsports Can-Am Series at Kansas Speedway. And the next season, once again, for Precision Racing League starts December 3rd. Thank you for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good night and have a good rest of the week. See you next race.